ruling your own world are the second key to success. So when you talk about ruling your own world, what are we really talking about here?
What I'm talking about, when you rule your world, that means you're in control of your own personal thoughts. You're able to respond rather than react to situations. And when you respond to situations rather than reacting emotionally to situations, you're better to have a better result. And when you have control of your first, there's your thoughts, then there's your feelings. And people have that upside down. They think I feel, so therefore I thought, I think. But it's I think, therefore I feel. And when we turn it back around to rule your world, you can control what you're thinking, you can control your reactions, and you can respond on not just a knowledge base, but you can respond on an intuitive base because you'll be able to know what your true feelings are when you don't have all of this stuff running around in your head, creating emotions and feelings that are not accurate.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because what do you say to people? I hear and receive what you're saying, and I agree with it. What do you say to people when they say, "Well, but I've got a million thoughts," or "How can I rule my world because I'm either so depressed or I'm so financially strapped," or they start giving you all the excuses why they can't rule their world. How do you deal with something like that?
Okay, the first thing I do is people who have a million thoughts running around in their head and they're just like, and their head's going on and on and on and on, and they can't sleep at night because they're all stressed out and they talk really fast, is I tell them, stop. And literally, I mean it. Like, put your hands on your ears like this, and you tell your mind to stop. If stop does not work, you tell it to be silent. And you keep doing that until you control your mind, because your mind is like a muscle, just like any other muscle. When you start exercising, your muscles get a little sore, they get a little angry, they get a little frustrated. So when you start tracking your thoughts, your mind starts thinking faster and faster because all of a sudden you're introducing a change. That change is going outside of your comfort zone, so that triggers fear. And fear will beat you up when you just step outside a little bit of that comfort zone. And so you're able to go beyond the fear to create your comfort zone bigger by telling your mind to stop, be silent. And then the other thing I do is I teach people how to be in the present moment. And that's to put your fingers like this, and then taking the tip of your tongue, put it on the little mound on the top of your mouth, and then I use the words focused, balanced, centered. Focused, balanced, centered. And I say that 3 times really, really loud in my head. And then all of a sudden there's a silence between the thoughts. And when you're in that silence between the thoughts, that's the creativity, that's the manifestation, that's the point of making your world bend to your ruling. So that's when you rule your world, is when you rule your mind.
Well, and it sounds like what you're doing is when people's thoughts are running away from them, that
Mhm.
it's kind of like a muscle twitch that you really can't control. And what you end up doing
Correct.
is you're putting yourself back in control of you're putting yourself back in control of your mind and your thoughts by instructing it to do something. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, you instruct your mind to do something. And you can also instruct, like a lot of people say, oh, well, my ego, I have a big ego. But your ego is a purpose. It's to do the mundane things. And if you give your ego tasks, which is a part of your fear, because the fear is your ego bucking you, thinking, oh my gosh, you're going to make me go away. But give it tasks. Tell it what to do. You can also command your mind to, hey, be on alert. I need more money. I desire more money. I want to have more money. So you tell your mind to be on alert. Let me know when there's an opportunity that I can go forward. And you can put your mind on 3 different alerts depending on the urgency. You can put it on red alert, which means this is critical, must do now. You can put it on yellow alert, which is, yeah, it's really important, but we've got a couple of weeks, and then you can just put it on, just let me know if there's a really good opportunity. Doesn't have to happen right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, and it's kind of interesting because it's all about the reticular activating system and making sure that you're open and ready to receive. It's just like when
Correct.
you go out and buy a red car, you swear up, down, left, and right that before you bought that red car, nobody in the world owned a red car like yours.
Hmm.
But the minute you drive off the lot, all of a sudden, miraculously, everybody in the world owns the same red car as you, and you don't feel as special anymore. And it's all because you're now in tune, and because you just bought the red car, that's what you're thinking about, and that's what you're predisposed to see. So I love how you talk about the fact that you're alerting your brain to keep open for those opportunities. And I
Correct.
would guess that it also works because like when we get emails or when we get Facebook posts and we skim them, let's face it, there are people who are in hundreds of groups and they see thousands of posts every day, so they have to skim. And I'm quite sure that part of what you're talking about here is putting your brain in the mode so that when it scans those, it's looking for different words and you pick up on different things and see different things from those posts that will resonate with your wants, needs, and desires that you have today. I mean, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct because you're telling your mind what to look for. And when you present a question or a problem to your mind, it automatically starts looking for a solution. And if you're not using up all of the the, the energy for reprocessing negative things from the past, by having all of those thoughts going on, and either we're in the past somewhere thinking about I should have, could have, would have, you have your regrets. If you remove that, you have more energy to look for how to make money. How can I do this? How can I achieve this? Um, then you start going into the I can, I will, I have, I be, by using those and putting your mind on tasks. Your mind loves to have a task. And if it's a task that you want to manifest, even the better.
Yeah, your mind loves to be busy, whether you want to whether you want to admit it or not. Even if you don't have ADD, ADHD, or any of the autism spectrum disorders, your mind loves to be busy. It's just the fact that
Yes.
most of the time we're not in tune to how busy our mind really is. Because if we were, we'd go crazy. We would go
Yeah.
completely nuts. And by the way, that is a technical term. I know enough psychologists that will back me on the fact that that is a completely technical term. But no, I mean it'll take you, and you will, you will drive yourself insane if you knew everything your mind was processing during a given day. So there's one other question, and I have a feeling it's a much longer conversation.
Okay.
But we brought up about fear, and I'm quite sure there are a lot of people that are watching right now, especially the guy on the blue couch. Yeah, the blue couch. Trust me, I know when you're on a blue couch, it's just this is the way you're thinking. I have enough friends who own blue couches. I've done a study, I've done the research, but they're thinking, okay, I'm afraid of something, and every time I tell my brain to do something else or I try and quiet my mind, the fear creeps back in. And I'm sure that's something that you help people with. But is there any one real quick thing you could give people today to start overcoming that fear, when they've tried to quiet their mind and it's a challenge for them because that fear keeps trying to beat the wall down that they're putting up and keeps trying to interfere.
The one most important thing that you can do is to start having a conversation with fear. Fear is actually your friend. Fear was created to keep you safe. Fear wants to make you safe because, like, when you were a child or when you were younger, let's say your teacher said, "Oh, that's bad. That's, really bad," and they were protecting you from maybe putting that crayon in the light socket or something that would have hurt you. So you have a panic response from an adult who didn't want you to hurt yourself, and then all of a sudden you pull back, and so fear was created to prevent you from being hurt. So it's your friend, it's not your enemy. And when you start having a conversation with it, it's like, okay, I really, really understand that you're trying to keep me safe. I really understand that you don't want me to get hurt again. It's going to be okay, but we're going to do this anyway.
Epic. That is epic advice. I could not have said it any better myself. So let's move into focused language.
To watch the rest of this epic episode now, click on the link below the video. Do it now, you'll be glad you did. Are you still here? What are you waiting for? Watch the rest of this epic episode now by clicking on the link below the video.